once you receive your waterproof box, inside you're gonna find the mounting. Screw them into the back of the box. And you're pretty much ready to mount it on the duct itself. Our next step is to locate your power supply. So once you have your power supply ready, then you need to make sure that you mount the box within reach of your power supply. So we have an extension cord, so we have no problems on where to mount it on this duct, so we can just use what's more convenient for us. Placing it on the duct, make sure that you have enough room for one, your waterproof box, and second, which is the second component that you'll see, it's going to be a metal diffuser box, which is what's going to hold your aroma and your diffuser. So let's go ahead and start mounting this one. What we do is we mark one of the sides. We're going to be using self-tapping metal screws. These screws themselves have a drill bit built into the front of it, so you do not need to pre-drill any holes. All you do is drill it directly into the ductwork. You got to make sure that there's metal behind the insulation. That's step one, but behind here I'm almost 100% sure that we do have it now. Now this box, it usually looks like it should be going with the flap down,
right?
But in reality it goes flap up. This is slanted on purpose, so as water goes down, it doesn't stick on the top or lick through the back. It just pushes it through the front, and then the actual metal covers the rest of the sides. So you don't have to like slant down. So right here's perfect. And yeah, that we actually work a lot more. Once you have both boxes mounted, you need to make the holes that go from the box, that bring in the air hose from the pump box into the metal diffuser box. So what you do is you use your cone drill bit to make a small incision on the bottom of the box, where you can then feed the air hose from the pump box into the metal diffuser box. And make sure you're slanted, because if you do it straight up, you will get metal shavings on you and get yourself burned. One which is going to feed the scent into the air duct, and then you're going to make an additional hole that all it's going to do is feed cold air into the box itself. So even in hot temperatures, the oil will stay cool and it will not deteriorate with the heat. You always want to make the hole as high as possible on the box, so that when you have your 4-liter drum, the arc of the air hose does never become so far that it will kink and then stop the scent from coming in. Let's do it high as possible. And then you make a second hold on the side. Okay, so these timers have two settings. It's A mode or two modes, A mode and B mode. A mode run 24 hours. B mode is where you can actually program the hours of operation. So right now the machine is on A mode. If you can see, it only has three screens. One, a countdown screen. Second, an on time. And an off time. Right now the machine runs 15 seconds, stop for 10 seconds, and then it's just a screen that tells you where it is in the countdown. Now to switch from A mode to B mode, all you do is press and hold the power button up until the B light flashes, which it just did. Now once you release it, then you're going to have more than those three initial screens. You have the countdown screen, which now is inactive, so it's just showing 000. You have the 15 seconds on, the 10 seconds off, then the next screen is going to be your current time. So right now we're just going to set the correct time, which is 1:05 p.m. Now, since we're going to be doing every day the same time, then it doesn't matter the current date of the week. Right now it says it's Thursday, and it's actually Tuesday. But since every day is going to be the same, then we can leave it on Thursday and just put the current time, which is 1:06. Now, after the current time, the next screen is going to be changing the begin time of every day of the week at one time. So we want it to turn on at 8 in the morning. We're going to press and hold the up arrow. Until it says 8 a.m. Now, once we hit view setting one more time, now it's going to be the same screen, just the end time for every day of the week. So we're going to press and hold the up arrow. We need to go through the AM and into the PM rather than going backwards, or it's going to miscalibrate the timer. So you always go in one single direction, which is forward. We've arrived at 11. Now the next 14 screens is going to be every individual day, just in case you need to make a specific day that the machine doesn't run, or you need it to run an extra amount of hours. But in our case, every day is the same, so we're just going to go through each day. If you notice, it's going to say 8 a.m. to 11 p.m., 8 a.m. to 11 p.m., pretty much every day of the week. And then we're going to get to our 000 screen. If we hit power, as long as the current time is within the operating time, the machine will kick on. And now we're going to calibrate the settings. We're going to start for our area at 30:45. Like to leave the machine on time. Now that the machine is programmed, we need to lay it upside down in the box so the box can close. We always recommend to use the power adapter for the unit to hold the screen from touching the bottom of the box. You can see. So the box is completely away from the timer, that way that it can't accidentally change the settings. And now we can close it, attach the air hose and close the box. In some cases, you gotta put the orientation of the pump box so it lines up with the exit hole. In some cases, it's back here, and that was the other way I had it. In this case, it's in the front, so you gotta line it up so there's no kinks in the hose. Okay, now we can feed the air hose into the pump box. So we find our end. Now you'll find on the side of the box a little knob that you remove. This is what actually makes the box waterproof. If you have a source of water, you can just wet the hose a little bit, or if not, you can use saliva and feed it into the box, making sure to not push out the black O-ring. Just in case. Box up until you can connect it to the push to connect. Push it in. And then you can tighten the knob to make the box waterproof. I always like to give yourself like half an inch extra just in case, but every time you service it, you can always disconnect the pieces prior to moving out the box, so that shouldn't be an issue. At this point, you can even close the box to start working on the diffusers. So now you take your 4-liter drum full of aroma, you open the top, always keep the internal plug and the outer cap inside of the actual box. That way, if you ever need to change aroma, you have the caps right there. You screw in your commercial diffuser into the drum, and you place it inside of the box. Now you're just going to measure out how much air hose you're going to need from the box into the metal diffuser box. So you know the incision is right here. So you hold the air hose. You want to give yourself a good extra 3 or 4 feet. Actually, I would say about 2 feet. Cut the air hose. Feed it into the bottom of the box. And you're going to wrap it around the diffuser head. You should feel the air pressure. And actually, there is air pressure coming out. So when you connect it to the diffuser, you should be able to see the mist coming out. So after you confirm that this is going on, you can disconnect the air hose momentarily so you don't set yourself out of here. And then you take your black polyethylene hose, and then you're going to measure how much hose is inside of the duct itself. So we know that there is about 2 inches of insulation in here. You're going to feel the duct. So that's the duct itself. You're going to mark it. So that's how much insulation we have. Then you want an additional 2 inches inside of the duct itself. So then you mark again with your finger. After which you can then introduce it directly into the duct. And you're going to measure where the diffuser head ends and mark it with your finger again. At that point, you can take it out, cut it to the length, and then feed it back into the hose, into the duct, sorry. And make sure it's, since you just cut it, it's not perfectly circular. At that point, you reconnect it again. Wait for the burst. And you should also be able to feel the airflow on the exit on your end. You see the mist come out? At that point, you connect the top. Make sure it's lined up. And you're pretty much done.